Hi everybody, my name is Aaron Brock, Director of Sports Medicine and Performance for USA Volleyball. I'm here to talk about shoulders and warm-ups for shoulders with Jeff Jendryk, 2024 Paris Olympian. Going to help me out showing some different exercises for the shoulder to get your shoulder ready for practice and matches. So this is a Hitter-6 program. We have a Hitter-6 program with a band, and we also have a Hitter-6 program without a band if you don't happen to have one. So let's go through a few exercises, 6 different exercises that you can do to get your shoulder ready if you don't have a band. Let's start out with push-up plus, Jeff. So a push-up plus gets a serratus going, nice upper body weight bearing here. You can see it's not a push-up. He's not bending his elbows and bringing his chest down to the ground. He's keeping his elbows straight, and you see his scapula are nice and tight, and then they spread out. He lets them come together, and he spreads them out. That's the plus. That's the push-up plus. It's a nice way to start out a no band available shoulder program. As you're in that position, Jeff, go ahead and stay there and go ahead and start doing some shoulder taps for me. So this is number 2. This has some nice upper body weight bearing. It goes into a single arm upper body weight bearing. And you can see how he's keeping his trunk nice and straight, trying not to shift too much. If you keep your hands together, it's a little bit easier. But you get a nice co-contraction of all the muscles of the shoulder by having it in a closed chain position with your hand on the ground. Great. Jeff, you could stand up. Let's go into a T and a Y. And because we don't have a band or dumbbells or external weight, we're going to use gravity to help us out. So the position that I want you to get in is a hinged position. This is just a bent over position, and we're trying to avoid that hunched middle back and an unathletic stance. So we're getting athletic stance, and we're pressing our hips back into a hinged position. And that's where we're going to start. And Jeff, let's get some T's and some Y's. So he's got a nice hinged position, which pressing those hips back, probably feeling a little tension in the posterior chain and the hamstrings, a little stretch there. Really nice flat back. You're getting a lot of good back activation. And throw in some Y's now, Jeff. So that's the T, and this is the Y. So we're getting some nice scapular retraction. You should start feeling this in the scaps, to the low part of the scaps, mid part of the scaps, and the back of the shoulders. So this is really good for the scapula muscles and the rotator cuff muscles. All right, so that's number 3. We had a push-up plus, we had some shoulder taps, we have a hinged T and Y. Now let's do a standing W with a reach. So you're just here, you're really turning on your rotator cuff and scapula, full W, and then a nice reach overhead and bringing it back. Standing W with a reach. Obviously, if you have some resistance, this can be a more difficult type of exercise, but I still think it's worth doing even if you don't have a band. And just making sure that your ribs aren't popping up in the front, thereby extending your low back. You're keeping everything nice and solid. That is a standing W and reach. Number 5, let's go back to that hinged position and get a W with an external rotation in that position. You know this move, so pressing back. He's got a nice hinged position. That's the W. That's the W. So because he's externally rotated, he's getting some nice activation in his rotator cuff, and he's getting some nice scapular work. Those are the 2 main areas we're looking for right now with a activation plan for the shoulder before practice and matches. Rotator cuff, scapula, turn them on and wake them up. Great. And so that was the W. Get some external rotation in that position as well. So we're lumping this into one exercise. Yep. And you want to pitch it far enough forward to where you're using gravity to provide resistance for you. If you're standing up too high, then the vector of force changes the muscle recruitment. Yep, so that's just a nice external rotation there. And you can see even without resistance, these muscles are working. These muscles are working. This is going to be a nice way to just activate before matches in practice. And I will say that's probably enough. You can keep going if you want.
That's on more.
I will say that if you want to use this as a rehab plan, a maintenance plan, a strength plan, you probably need to add some resistance, and you need to do at least 2 or 3 sets. This is just 1 set through, no band, just activation before practice, but this isn't strengthening. Last one, number 6, that was number 5. We have quick circles, clockwise and counterclockwise. This is our 6th exercise. Go ahead and knock those out. So we're hitting a little bit of tight circling, putting a little bit of proprioception through the shoulders and going clockwise and now counterclockwise. And those are our 6 no band Hitter-6 program. We got push-up pluses. We have our shoulder taps. We have our hinged T's and Y's. We have our standing W with a reach. We have our hinged W and external rotation. And then we got our quick circles, clockwise, counterclockwise.